Top of the morning to you laddies, my name is Professor Teeks. Today we're going to be talking about my journey as a newly formed Gen Z metalhead, okay? Now let's just get this out of the way. First, I am going to be talking about music of 2024, and then I will be talking about my metal journey. Okay, this is just kind of like a double up video, so let's just jump right into it. Don't mind the Deftones song in my played right here. I was listening to Deftones before I came home, but here we are. We have Green Day's album Saviors. Now, I had no idea that Green Day was still making music, but apparently they just were. And so, yeah. Now, at this time, I was still in high school. I was just chilling in my theater class, and my non-binary friend came up to me. They were on the podcast a few times, actually, but they came up to me and they're like, oh my gosh, Green Day released a new album. It's actually really, really good. And I'm like, oh, they still make music? And they're like, yeah, you should listen to it. And so I'm like, oh, okay, sure, fine. I'll listen to Green Day's album. And it was fire. Look at all these songs that I liked. That's pretty good. I heard some like Green Day songs on the radio time to time, like, you know, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, you know. But I didn't know Green Day was like actually good, okay? Like, this poopy's fire. We're gonna move on to Vulture. I don't think I can show the album cover, but Vulture's One by Kanye West. I don't want to be showing some booty on my screen, okay? I just realized that I have a lot of stuff to talk about, so I'm just gonna like speed run through this, okay? It would be so much easier if I could do a tier list of this, but I don't really feel like it. Yeah, Vulture's One, it was okay, I guess. I don't really like Kanye that much. The couple songs I liked on this, but that's about it. Here we have Yeat's album. I really like this album. I thought it was one of his best albums. I don't know if it's his overall best, but I really like the style of this, and it's pretty memorable. We Don't Trust You by Future and Metro Boomin. This album sucked. This isn't an album, but I like to go over EPs anyway. Here's Genre Sad Boy by Machine Gun Kelly and Trippie Redd. Okay, this was okay, I guess. A couple of songs on here I liked, but I don't know. Machine Gun Kelly, go back to punk rock. That was better. And then here we have We Still Don't Trust You by Future and Metro Boomin. Yeah, this was the one that I liked. There's like one song on here, but overall, Future is starting to fall off or something, I don't know. Next we have the Tortured Poets Department, the anthology. This album only has two semi-decent songs, the intro song with Post Malone and then the song with Florence and the Machine, and that's about it. I didn't even finish this album, but I think everything sounds the same. I made a main channel video about it, but yeah, it sucks. Here we have One of One by Gunna. I hated this album, and nothing on here is good, so yeah. Here we have Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish. This album is probably one of her best albums, and of course the best song on here is Birds of a Feather. Pretty good. Everything else, it's okay. It's just not really my style anymore, but still, like, objectively, this album is like up there with Happier Than Ever, and I really liked Happier Than Ever, and this is like just as good. So yeah, here we have Heartstone Psycho by Don Toliver. I really like this album. This is probably my favorite rap album of 2024, and yeah. The Travis Scott tracks, though, they're not that good. So, yeah, Travis Scott, he's kind of fallen off since since the concert where people died and stuff. I don't know what the frick happened. He just got bad. And then here we actually have a metal album that, well, it's not really metal. It's more of lo-fi. But this did come out in 2024. I'm going to go more into detail on my metal journey in this video because it's in the title. But here we have Concrete Jungle, the OST. It's not like an official album or anything by Bad Omens, but there's some pretty good lo-fi on here. There's a couple that I have on my playlist, and then there's Anything More Than Human. This is an actual metal song, so this is probably the best song on the album. I don't know why these have so many streams, but I don't think they're as good. So yeah, here we have Brat by Charlie XCX. I had no idea who this bitch was before this album dropped, and I'm like, you know what, fine, I'll listen to it. And I don't really have much to say. Like, this album's fine, like, it's unique, and that's kind of all that matters. As long as an artist makes something that sounds nothing like everything else in the industry, then whatever. It's just they're filling in a niche that people that are not me will appreciate. And so yeah, if you're a Charlie XCX fan, you're probably a bisexual woman, which is cringe in itself, but you're not cringe because you like this artist, you're cringe because you're just cringe. But yeah, this album, it's fine. That's all I gotta say. Next, we have American Dream by 21 Savage. I think 21 Savage fell off. And yeah, maybe I'm racist. Maybe I don't like black people. Just like last year, with last year's music review and stuff. I think I'm just racist now. I don't like listening to black artists anymore. And again, I'll get more into detail on that in a sec. But yeah, this album, it's one of the least memorable albums, rap albums from this year. Here we have Megan by Megan Thee Stallion. I don't know if this is considered a self-titled album, or maybe this is a reference to that horror movie with the android chick named Megan. I don't know. But yeah, this album, if you like woman rap, you need to listen to this album if you haven't already. I thought this was like every single song, like it has a feel to it, and I think Megan really outdid herself on this. None of these songs made it to my playlist or anything because I'm racist. Like I said, I don't want to listen to this poopy, but objectively I think this album is really good, and I think Megan Thee Stallion is better than Cardi B. Okay, here we have another EP, but it's by Jojo Siwa. Okay, Guilty Pleasure. It's not good and it's not great. It's mid. I'd say it really deserves to be mid. For gay queer pop, it's not. Why should I care, you know? Is Karma a good song? If you think so, then fine. Maybe it is a good song. I don't think so, though. Here we have Brick by Brick by Cask. Now, what the heck is Cask? It is Meat Canyon's metal band that he launched in 2024, and he hasn't really done anything since this EP, I think. Yep, not really done anything. So, yeah. But he released this, and I thought it was pretty decent. Okay? I don't really have a favorite song. It would probably be this one because it has the most streams. I don't remember. It's not really... It's kind of generic, but if you like generic, like, death metal, I think this is death metal. I don't know. Then yeah, this is for you. But let's move on. And now we have Vultures 2 by Kanye West and Ty Dolla $ign. Okay? Man, there's a lot of songs that got taken off. What the fuck? I don't know. I don't think this was as good as Vultures 1. I don't really remember anything, so that's really saying a lot. And here we have probably one of the most mid Post Malone albums. Now, Post Malone, he's been my favorite artist for a long time now. I've said this a lot. I don't think I listened to this disc too. I didn't notice that. But yeah. So Post Malone is now a country artist, and that's all this album is. It's all just country songs, and it's, yeah, I don't know. It's just like there's a couple good songs on here. It's just not my thing. I'm not a country guy. Like I can rock with some of it. Like I had some help featuring Morgan Wallen. I think this song is really good as a country song, but it's not my thing. Like, it wasn't on my playlist for that long. So let's move on. Here we have Mixtape Pluto. It says it's an album, but it might actually be a mixtape, so I don't know if any of these songs are new. I don't care enough to check. But I don't actually remember this album, so I can't say anything about it. Clearly, none of it's on my playlist, so yeah, that's all you need to know. Here we have Chromacopia by Tyler, the Creator. Okay. I thought this album was decent, I guess. It's not my thing. I don't really like Tyler the Creator, but if you like him, you're cringe, but like I'm not gonna fight you over it, okay? Again, I'm just racist. I don't like black people. So next we have Lil Uzi Vert with Eternal Take 2, okay? I forgot this album existed as well. I keep on forgetting that any of this is here, and yeah, I can't say anything about this because I don't even remember it existing. Here we have From Zero by Linkin Park. Now, Linkin Park got a new lead singer. It's a woman, and she's a Scientologist, and she's a leftist, I think, and so it's probably one of the worst lead singers they could have possibly gotten on board. And so with that being said, this album is very bland. It lacks so much substance and creativity. Man, if you like hearing women scream, then I guess it's for you, but I don't like woman metal vocalists, okay? I think they're cringe, and metal is strictly for men, so please get the frick out of here. Here we have GNX by Kendrick Lamar. Now, I also don't like Kendrick Lamar. I notoriously did not like his previous album, the Big Steppers, whatever the frick. Okay, I thought that poopy was terrible, but it got album of the year in 2022. I was very, very angry because I think people have trash music tastes, especially in the rap community. Okay, so yeah, GNX, it's slightly better than the Big Steppers, but that isn't saying much. So yeah, Kendrick Lamar, frick you. Like, why don't you start making metal? Okay, like, stop being a rapist. Here we have The Party Never Ends by Juice WRLD. Okay, this is Juice WRLD's worst album ever, I think. Yeah, I was waiting for this album for like 3 years or something, and now it's finally out with a Fortnite skin and everything, and you can play some of these songs in the Fortnite festival. And it is so disappointing. Okay, these are some of the worst songs they could have possibly put on here. Like, why the frick? And there's only one good song. Where's Empty Your Pockets? Okay, Empty Your Pockets is literally the only good song. Okay, Lace It with Eminem and Benny Blanco. It was on my playlist for a little bit, but not for long. But that was way before this album even dropped. This was a single. And Empty Your Pockets, Fortnite made a music video for this song, and it was pretty good. Okay, but like, one good song on the entire album, that's just criminal. Okay, all of his other albums, there's banger after banger. Okay, I'm so racist that I don't even like Juice WRLD anymore. What the frick happened? Okay, here we have Glaive with yet another album. Okay, this is probably his third album ever. Oh no, his second album, because everything he made before this one was all EPs and concepts. But yeah, I think Glaive fell off because everything he's been making is like different. Every single record he releases, it's like a completely different experimental style, and it's just like, bruh, like, you had such a good style before with like All Dogs Go to Heaven and stuff. And then where is it? I care so much that I don't care at all. With this album, like, it was still pretty decent, okay? But then he just ruins it because he makes like different stuff that's worse. Okay, here we are with probably my favorite album of 2024 overall. Here we have Bring Me the Horizons Post-Human Next Gen. Okay, this is a sequel to their post-human survival horror from 2020 that nobody liked. I still kind of, the album is decent. It's not amazing, but this album redeems itself. This is the best album they've released since That's the Spirit in 2015. Okay, Bring Me the Horizon has never been so back. All right, and so we got all these songs. Okay, I think it was like 7 or 9 songs on here that I liked. It's just they were singles. Like Kool-Aid was a single, so I had that on my playlist. This new Dark Side was a single. This is my most played song on Spotify of 2024. It's not even the best song on here, but for some reason it's one of the most streamed. This song's really good. Loss, Strangers was a single. Rip, Amen was a single. Die For You, and then Dig It. So 10 songs on here that I liked. Okay, this isn't their best album ever, but it's like top 5. Okay, if you like modern metalcore and stuff and all that over production and over editing on songs, then you will love this album and stuff. Bring Me the Horizon are always so innovative. Anyway, I need to move on. I need to stop talking about them. Oh, just kidding. That's it. That's all the album. So as you can see, I tried to speed run through that as quick as I could. That's about, like, there's not as many albums that I can review this year, or for 2024, I mean, because like I've given up on everything. I just listen to metal, rock, and punk. Okay, that's it. That's not the only thing. You get the idea. So now I'm gonna read this essay that I typed, and I'm gonna make it I mean, I can't really make it any shorter. I feel like all this is important. But since this is the second channel, I get to upload whatever the frick I want. And so now we get to transition into the next segment of this video. So here we go. I've talked about it before, but my story begins all the way back in 2016 as my brother started listening to Bring Me the Horizon. He would play their songs all the time in his room or in his car, so I was not safe from hearing it at any point in my day. Something I've thought about recently is the possibility that I may have developed a taste of metal in the past few years because of this constant exposure way back in elementary school. It's kind of like how a lot of abuse victims will grow up and be attracted to other abusers and never escape the endless cycle of domestic violence in their life. Could I perhaps be traumatized from my forceful exposure to screamo metal as a kid, thus having me grow up in my teen years craving for the piercing noise of metalcore? The next point in the story jumps to early 2021 as I was in the middle of my freshman year in high school. KSI made a song with Youngblood called Patience, and I thought it sounded really, really good. I then looked at more of Youngblood's discography and listened to his 2020 album called Weird! I was immediately hooked. I had the majority of this album on my playlist for the next year. This exposure to this album didn't entirely suck me into the metal world, but I would say it was my initial gateway and played a part in desensitizing me to the genre. 2021 to 2023, I would say, was a time where rap, mumble rap, and hip-hop got really saturated and boring. This caused me to branch out again, and instead of finding more metal artists, I discovered Glaive through a friend of mine in December of 2021. This was an artist that made a genre of music that I'm told is called hyperpop. It's basically a little bit of rap, breakcore, and pop mixed together. I was obsessed with Glaive for the entirety of 2022, but that summer, I began listening to MGK, not knowing that people hated him, but who cares? MGK was another gateway to metal, but more specifically, punk rock. By 2023, Travis Scott released Utopia. This was the one album I had been waiting for since the Fortnite concert Travis did in 2020. After listening to the album, I was heavily disappointed. There were only 2 good songs on it, Fiend and My Eyes, okay? This release had me in all sorts of waves of grief. I had gotten so frustrated with rap and hip-hop by this point that I decided to finally do it. I was going to take a dive into the magical world of metal. Okay? One day, as my brother was at the house, I had asked him which Bring Me the Horizon albums I should listen to. He told me all of them, except for the first one. So in the fall of 2023, I listened to their whole discography, and immediately became obsessed. I felt as if a weight was lifted off my shoulders. It's like I had been molested many years ago and finally was able to love someone despite the pre-existing torment. I was officially a metalhead. Okay, by 2024, I was ready to discover even more metal bands. I asked my brother and his fiance if there were any more bands they would recommend. They gave me a small list. Then for the next week, I listened to these bands. This list right here is a mixture of bands that my brother and my podcast co-host Owen recommended me. Now, Owen's favorite band of all time is Judas Priest. But he also likes Pantera, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Iron Maiden, Tool, Megadeth, and Black Sabbath. And then Deftones and Breaking Benjamin, my brother recommended me, and so I listened to all their albums. But Judas Priest, I listened to like 9 of their albums, and I didn't like any of them at all. I think Judas Priest is mid as frick. And if you like Judas Priest, then you need to expand your metal palette. Because Judas Priest was good in like the 70s and 80s, but after that, people innovated metal since then, so you should like discover the new stuff, I think. But yeah, same thing with all these other bands. I don't like grunge. I don't like classic metal. I don't like Tool. I don't like Black Sabbath, even though they invented metal. I don't like the old stuff. If you like the old stuff, then you need to like die or something, you know? Anyway, so Deftones was the first band on this list here from my brother that I actually listened to all their albums besides Bring Me the Horizon, okay? This is post Bring Me the Horizon, okay? So yeah, Deftones, one of my favorite bands of all time now. They are just so epic. And I don't want to get too far into it. I don't want to make this video longer than it needs to be. And then there's Breaking Benjamin. Breaking Benjamin is like okay, I guess. They're not very memorable. they weren't on my playlist for that long compared to everything else. So yeah, if you like Breaking Benjamin, then good on you, pal, but they're just kind of underwhelming for me. Okay. Then there was System of a Down. Now, maybe I don't like Armenians or something, but System of a Down is mid as frick, one of the most boring metal bands of the 2000s, I think. So then there's Highly Suspect, which is a newer band. Mid as frick. They sound unique and whatever, but it's just not my thing. So frick you. Five Finger Death Punch is a heavy metal band. It's probably one of the most basic bands I could have listened to. I still kind of like them, but not anymore because I realized how mid they are over time. But yeah, if you like Five Finger Death Punch, then good on you, pal, but they're not a timeless masterpiece like a lot of these other ones. And then there's Disturbed. I don't remember how Disturbed sound. And then there's Rolling Stones, which is a rock band. I see that big ball sack, I want it painted black. That's their one good song. These bands were awful compared to what I was used to hearing with Bring Me the Horizon. So I asked them again for another list, but this time, give me bands that actually sound like Bring Me the Horizon. Come to find out, this was a genre called metalcore, which was the true beginning to the rabbit hole of my metal journey after all these years. I listened to Bad Omens, Crown the Empire, Pierce the Veil, which is not a metalcore band, but whatever. Sleep Token. I don't like Sleep Token that much. Hot take. Nothing More. Also don't really like Nothing More that much, but I like it more than Sleep Token. And then Bullet for My Valentine. Bullet for My Valentine is the most mid out of all these bands, and their only good song is Tears Don't Fall, They Crash Around Me. That's it's on my playlist right now, but like everything else, I've listened to all their. Okay, the reason why some of these bands are highlighted like this, like it has the black box around it, is that indicates that I listen to every single one of their albums. Okay, I listen to every single Bullet for My Valentine album, but none of them are good except for The Poison. Okay, and there's only one good song on The Poison. Okay, so yeah, anyway, and so all of these are categorized in like different eras, just like Taylor Swift has eras. So then I listened to Avenged Sevenfold. I don't like them that much. Kill Switch Engage, also don't like them. Trivium, no. Limp Bizkit, no. Slipknot, no. Korn, no. Slipknot and Linkin Park are probably the best new metal bands, I think. I don't like Korn that much, or Limp Bizkit. It's not my thing. Asking Alexandria, I saw their concert in October and stuff, and it was really, really good. Okay, I wish I could talk about it all day. I mean, I have it in the script as well, so we'll get to that. And then there's Architects, Green Day. I listened to more Green Day albums. Turns out Green Day is only good now. All of their old stuff, I don't like it that much. Rise Against, I only like their album from 2005. Everything after 2005 is mid as frick, except for Saviors and their 2008 record. Jamie's Elsewhere, which is a band that the Mice and Men lead singer formed with some other people, and it's pretty good. And then there's a Mice and Men. Nirvana. Turns out I don't like grunge at all. I think grunge is mid as frick. Nirvana has a few decent songs, but it's not something I listen to all the time. And then My Chemical Romance. We're going to come back to My Chemical Romance pretty soon, but I'm just going to go through all this. Foo Fighters. They have one good song, and I think you know what it is. 3 Days Grace. It's pretty decent. The original lead singer is going to come back to the band pretty soon. I don't know when. But yeah, they're finally not addicted to drugs. And so I don't know what's going to happen to the current singer. Probably never going to come back. And then there's Black Veil Brides. This band is kind of mid, but I did kind of like some of their songs, even though how cringe they are, but they're not a timeless masterpiece. It's very dated, so they didn't last on my playlist that long. Linkin Park, of course, I think is the best new metal band. That's about it. Radiohead, not my thing. Sabaton, which is a Christian metal band, I think, and they have a song that became a meme on TikTok, I think. I don't remember what it's called. I Prevail. I think this is one of the best modern metalcore bands right now. It's not like groundbreaking, but it's just their music is just consistently solid. Like they don't really have any bad songs per se. And then Falling in Reverse, very epic. They have the best music videos, and I think we're going to talk about music videos in the script. But yeah, Falling in Reverse. I went on the rabbit hole. Very interesting. Ronnie Radke, very compelling man. Okay. And then Sleeping with Sirens, it's basically a Pierce the Veil clone, and I really like their 2013 album, Feel. I think that's their best album. People think that their best album is their debut album, but I heavily disagree. Escape the Fate, it's the band that Ronnie Radke was in before Falling in Reverse. If they didn't kick out Ronnie when he got arrested in 2008, I feel like Escape the Fate would be one of the best emo bands of the 2010s. Okay, they started in the 2000s, but you know, like going into the 2010s, they would have been fired, because Escape the Fate and Falling in Reverse are very talented. Okay, I think like they're both equal. I really like both of these bands. It's just a shame that Ronnie was not in good terms with these people for a little bit. They're on decent terms now behind the scenes, but they're probably not gonna collaborate or anything. And then Motionless in White, they're pretty popular right now. They're okay, I guess. Like they made a song with Mick Gordon on their latest album, which is the guy that made the Doom soundtrack. And it's a really good song, but like Motionless in White, throughout all of their albums, there's like just a few good songs here and there. They're not timeless. They're relevant right now, but in a few years from now, I'm confident that they're gonna die off. And then Memphis May Fire, I also saw this band perform with Asking Alexandria. I actually knew the words to some of the songs. They're very generic. It's a very generic metalcore band, so it's not highly recommended. They have a few really good songs, and that's about it. And then We Came as Romans, same deal, very generic. Their latest album in 2022, it's called Dark Bloom, I think is their best album. All their old stuff is pretty decent. Like they're not bad albums, but what they got going on right now, they're gonna take, if they make another album, it's probably gonna be really, really good or something. Okay, so I'm gonna wait and see. The Humidity Affliction, I think this band was not worth listening to, because it's a metalcore band, but it's not super duper heavy compared to most of the other ones. It's just kind of, it's very niche. Like I don't know how to describe it. I don't like it. It was a waste of time. Spirit Box is another up and coming band right now with a female lead singer. Again, I don't like female metal singers. I think they just kind of ruin it and make it cringe. That's just my opinion though. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Blink 182 is a classic punk band from the 90s. They have a few good songs. I like their sound. It's not as good as Green Day, but it's like almost there. It's almost as good as Green Day. But yeah, I like Blink. Okay, I think highly of them, even though I'm not the biggest fan. Okay, and then Godsmack. I don't remember how they sound. It's just random dad rock bands that Owen made me listen to. Okay, and then Ice Nine Kills, also a popular band right now. Extremely generic. One of the most generic metal bands that are popular right now. They have the horror movie kind of gimmick going on right now. It's kind of cool, I guess. Like they have some decent music videos with it, but just the music itself, it's like, who cares? Not a timeless masterpiece. A Day to Remember, I'm told that this band is really, really good if you give it a chance. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Beartooth is a band with one of the Attack members. And we're going to talk about Attack soon. I don't like it that much. Fall Out Boy, they have one good song. You will remember me for centuries. Arctic Monkeys. I don't know why I listened to this. It's not a metal band at all. Archers, I saw them perform at the concert, and also The Word Alive. Both of these bands are very generic, so that's all I gotta say. Evanescence, I Hate Women. 30 Seconds to Mars, This made me actually like Jared Leto, but for some reason after 2010 they became a club band, so they're not like rock or anything anymore. So it's kind of sad. Like their first 3 albums, they are fire. Absolute masterpieces, okay? So I highly recommend listening to them. And then from first to last, this is Skrillex's band before he became an EDM dubstep god. And it's decent. It's not as good as My Chemical Romance, but like if you like MCR, then you'll like this. Okay. And then The Used. I don't like The Used at all. Also, the lead singer hates Gerard Way of MCR. And so then that means I have to hate The Used. Attack Attack, one of the best metalcore bands ever, but then they fell off after 2012 because all the members kept on leaving. That's why Beartooth was formed. But yeah, there's like some current members on Attack Attack, but it's just for relevance. Like it's just a completely different project. Yeah, but their old stuff, like it's dated, but it's just memorable. Okay. If you haven't listened to Attack Attack, you need to get cultured. And then there's Chiodos. Same deal as like what is it, From First to Last and My Chemical Romance. If you like those bands, you'll like Chiodos probably, or if you like Pierce the Veil. Pierce the Veil is very similar to Chiodos, but Chiodos was formed before Pierce the Veil and Sleeping with Sirens. So Chiodos did it first. They did the high pitch vocals, I think. I don't know if they started it, but they probably popularized it right before Pierce the Veil, which made it mainstream. And then Papa Roach. I don't like Papa Roach that much. If you like him, that's fine, but frick you anyway. Hawthorne Heights, I haven't listened to. Paramore, I haven't listened to. Ramones, I still need to listen to these. I keep on forgetting. But yeah, I'm gonna listen to more bands. We'll see where this goes in the future. But that's about it. In the summer of 2024, my brother told me to listen to My Chemical Romance. I was absolutely appalled that he would suggest such a thing. MCR was infamously the most overplayed band in the 2000s, and was the head of the self-harming cult that are the emos. My brother scoffed and told me that MCR is actually a really great band, and I need to listen to them. I hesitated for a few weeks, but eventually caved in. After listening to their debut album, I Brought You My Bullets, You Brought Me Your Love, I was quite underwhelmed. But seeing this album was released in 2002, I continued on to 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge to see if their sound got any better. And it absolutely did. The album was very theatrical and unapologetic. There was simply nothing quite like it that you could hear anywhere else. Then there was The Black Parade. Knowing that this is the emo album of all time, I knew I was in for a masterpiece, and a masterpiece it was. This was one of the best pieces of media I had ever gotten my digital hands on. Everything about their previous album had been scrapped and put back together in heavenly orchestral beauty that was The Black Parade. Their last album was something I didn't recognize, titled Danger Days. I immediately noticed that each song had substantially less global streams than The Black Parade did, so I knew I wasn't going to listen to anything special, and I was correct in my assumption. Danger Days isn't as bad as their debut album, but it's definitely the most dated with its excessive use of pop elements. I would like to update this segment of MCR. I did go back through, I'm going to say it in the script, but I did go back through and listen to all the albums again, and I picked out extra songs. Let me just show you. We have these 5 songs from the first album. I'm currently obsessed with them. I've been learning to scream like Gerard in 2002, and I've been trying to, do vocal training and stuff. I learned to play the intro of Demolition Lovers on guitar, and that's about it. Everything else is very difficult to play for some reason. And then here we have their second album. Pretty good. These songs are the lesser songs, but they're still good to just casually listen to, you know. And then Black Parade, and then Danger Days, and then the scrapped version of the album they were going to release instead of Danger Days. This says that it was released in 2012 and 2013, but it was actually made in like 2009. And then after the MCR broke up, they all became independent artists, and so Gerard released Hesitant Alien, and this is like the one good song on there. And then after that, he made a song in 2019. And it has the guitarist of the band, Ray Toro. They got back together and they made this song for this, for the Umbrella Academy and stuff. So yeah, that's MCR. And that we're not done yet. There's more on the Vibes playlist. Here's all the songs again. I just have them in both playlists. And then there's more of their second album. These are the 4 best songs on 3 Cheers. Okay. And then there's more Black Parade. Okay. And then there's a B-sides song, Kill All Your Friends, that was going to be on Black Parade, but they took it out. But now it's here. And then more Danger Days. As you can see, I don't like Danger Days that much because it's too poppy. And then another song from their scrapped 2009 record that they didn't finish. So yeah, there you go. That's MCR. There's so much. And I love MCR, man. I'm hyper fixated off the wazoo. It's incredible. I continued my metal journey from there on. After listening to a bunch of other bands, I couldn't help but feel curiosity around the music videos might look like with all these bands I've listened to. MCR was the main band on my mind at the time, so I found all their music videos on YouTube and was immediately infatuated with their visual aesthetic, and that perfectly complemented their music. So moving into the fall of 2024, I continued my metal journey, moving into more post-hardcore bands like Chiodos from First to Last, and not very many post-hardcore bands, but there was some. I wanted to discover more bands that had the slightest resemblance to MCR's style. This post-hardcore journey would fall short, saying that literally no bands sound like MCR. What was my next course of action? Listening to all of the MCR albums over and over again to scrape off all the juice they have to offer. I went into the MCR rabbit hole, watching videos about how they got started and theories as to why they disbanded in 2013. Come to find out, they got back together in 2022 for a nostalgia bait tour that I had no idea even happened. So I looked at archived footage of some of the concerts. I then looked onto Instagram to see what some of the members are doing, and the answer is that they don't really do much in terms of social media. I then clicked on their tags to see how many people spam them, and there was a decent amount. Most of them were either fan art or pictures from the 2022 concerts. I then looked at some of the profiles of the people who posted the concert photos, and they were all a bunch of goth and theater kids, which was quite the jump scare because I had realized that I became a fan of a band that might have turned me into the very thing I swore to destroy. But I looked within and confirmed that I'm not any more cringe than I already was in my senior year of high school. Yet. This hyperfixation on MCR continues to this very day. For months now, I've done nothing but watch any MCR interview or compilation that shows up in my YouTube recommendations. I'm listening to MCR right now as I'm writing the script. MCR is love. MCR is life. So this begs the question, would I go to one of their concerts in July 2025? And the answer is no. The closest concert to where I live is still kind of far away, and I don't want to see a bunch of old men perform songs from their prime. So, after seeing some recent concerts of the lead singer Gerard Way getting wild on stage, it's pretty obvious that this man is not as good at singing as he used to be. The contrast between a concert from 2007 and 2022 is clearly there. Speaking of concerts, I did actually go see Asking Alexandria back in October. It was a friend tour kind of thing, so there were several other bands that performed first. But when Asking Alexandria came on stage, the crowd went wild, brother. And then suddenly, it was all worth it. I could actually sing along to the songs they performed, and I even went into the mosh pit a few times. The sort of energy that's felt in a metal concert brings a feeling of freedom. Everyone there was kind to each other and there to have a good time. I quickly noticed that some people around me would throw up the rock on hand sign. I was put off by this at first, since I thought that hand sign was exclusively for rock and punk rock concerts, but perhaps not. When I threw up those devilish horns attached to my hand, it made me feel powerful. As we threw all of our horns up in unison, we all felt like one large and happy family. This bond would be further strengthened in the mosh pit as we ran around and rammed into each other, attempting to knock over as many people as we could. It's certainly an experience I will never forget. Anyway, back to MCR. This hyperfixation led me down another rabbit hole. The emos. I watched video essays attempting to learn about the emo subculture of the 2000s. At first, I thought emos were posers and cringe. Now I understand it all. It's much more than fashion. It's a lifestyle. I understand that simply calling someone emo could be factually and logically inferior to the proper subgenre of culture that came after the emos, and that is referred to as alternative culture or altcore. This genre is a combination of emo, goth, and punk that can be mixed and formed in any way you want. In short, it's just a modernized version of gay emos with daddy issues. Emo fashion has come and gone lots of times since 1985, and the emos that had finally gone mainstream in the 2000s continued to slowly evolve throughout the 2010s, and even more rapidly in the 2020s. So with that being said, emo doesn't mean the same thing 10 to 20 years ago. If you went up to an emo in the modern day because they have long dark hair, baggy clothes, and listens to sad music, then you may have been misled by your peers. So stop calling these people emo. The proper term is now altcore. Professor Teagues is not responsible for today's message. Now let's talk about nu metal. I didn't know what nu metal was until 2024, if I'm being totally honest. This genre of metal is still ongoing for some people, but overall, it died in the mid to late 2000s, never to be seen again until the 2020s. That's right, alternative fashion worked its magic and brought back a dying music genre that was nearly 30 years old. How did people get exposed to nu metal? Through TikTok, of course. Bands like Korn, Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, Slipknot, and Deftones began to trend throughout the pandemic as well as the post-pandemic era of 2022 through 2025. Deftones themselves have said that they don't associate with the nu metal stuff, and they consider themselves to be their own genre, which may be accurate considering they were formed in the late 80s, while Korn released their debut album in 1994, which has been credited to be the mainstream launch of nu metal. Throughout the post-pandemic era, I noticed a lot of people were walking around with oversized jeans, chains, beanies, and piercings, much more than usual. I didn't think much of it for a while, but by 2024 I finally understand. Rock and metal have seen a resurgence, leaving emo rap in the dust, and to be quickly forgotten into obscurity. The late 2000s and early 2010s saw the rise in pop artists being the main focus on music for the majority of that decade. Meanwhile, rock and metal became more conformist in the way the bands and artists played it safe when it came to developing their sound to be more commercially acceptable, thus minimizing experimental records that stood out from the crowd. Being a solo artist with a team producing different beats became the meta. Then in the late 2010s and early 2020s, more or less, rap and hip-hop became the cool thing. Suddenly, everyone wanted to be a SoundCloud rapper and break out the hood like their favorite rappers did. And then as we move into the mid-2020s, it's now cool to be a metalhead. Plenty of people in the world have seen the great fall-off of various mainstream artists who constantly run out of ideas and creativity for their next record. So where else to look than in the past? The truth of modern society is that people hate the modern times, including me. I am one who appreciates history, whether it's 10 years ago, 20 years, 50, or 100. But one thing that Gen Z can't get over is not only the fact that they were toddlers when it was the best time to purchase a house and continue to increase the property's value, we also lament the fact that we weren't even born when the greatest music artists on graced the earth, okay? I was born in 2006, but didn't gain consciousness until 2009 to 2010. What do I remember about this time? I remember my family, my babysitter, my cats, and my favorite cartoons like Wubsy Wubsy Wow Wow, Yo Gabba Gabba, Thomas the Tank Engine, and Elmo's World. What does everyone else remember? They remember the rise of the iPhone, the birth of Hatsune Miku, the death of Steve Irwin and Michael Jackson, the killing of Osama bin Laden, Barack Obama being the first black president of America, or even the Haiti earthquake. Haiti, Hatia, Croatia. The one advantage that our generation has is the internet. We all use the internet to learn about our favorite eras of history, and that includes the nu metal era of the 90s and 2000s. So with all this being said, what do I think of this pseudo Y2K music movement? At first, I thought it was a little corny because I believe some things should be left in the past if they've done more harm than good. What kind of harm does nu metal cause? I don't know. Suicidal ideation and cult-like rebellion or something. But now I realize that Gen Z wants what Gen Z wants. Things can evolve to have different meanings and different ways of enjoying it. Not to mention that Y2K allows for all of us to experience something we weren't alive to see ourselves. And being the conservative that I am more than happy to give the middle finger to modern fashion, celebrities, and the establishment in general by dressing like a satanic goth and singing My Chem songs about a young man dying of cancer. But seeing that metal is no longer niche and actually widely accepted nowadays, I tend to express my metalhead lifestyle in moderation from here on. I initially thought that listening to MCR, Pierce the Veil, and Deftones would make me cool and mysterious. I look around and notice that literally everyone listens to these bands, so I'm not special in the slightest. As the creative autist that I am, I've decided that I wanted to learn to play guitar, sing, and write music. I am good at literally none of these things, so why not learn? I don't exactly know where I'm going to go with this new passion of mine, but I do have the blueprints. I am going to advance my music making skills and make my own EP. Seeing that my whole family are musically literate, I can always ask for assistance with guitar riffs or how exactly I should make the instruments sound. The main problem I see besides me not knowing what I'm doing is if other people I work with can see the vision I have for my music. My vast imagination has helped me visualize the kind of artist I want to be. A dynamic individual that creates a mix of experimental and concept records, expressing creativity in every aspect in order to make sure I'm always challenging myself and creating something new. This vision of mine is very vague and generic, but I genuinely want to make something that the world has never seen before. I will work with music genres like metal, rock, punk, pop, and rap. I am the pure definition of a social chameleon, meaning that I have lots of friends I get along with who have various personalities and interests. I will now evolve into a music chameleon and try out every music genre I can, because who's gonna stop me? The record label? Get out of here. But for right now, I am attempting to find people who actually know how to make music or give me feedback on the work I've done so far. But in the meantime, me and my older brother have been collaborating to expand his vision of the band he has with his friend. The band's called Skrailing, and they've been sitting on it doing absolutely nothing but song covers, so this had me think that maybe I could help a brother out for a bit and we could make this EP of mine together. Then, once I know what I'm doing with my style of music, I'll break off and become an independent artist. Either that, or I'll start my own band. I'm thinking of calling it My Fruity Bromance. So that's the script. That is basically all I have to talk about. But you can look at the video thing below. There's still like 5 minutes left. Well, that's because I'm going to show you something so special. I'm going to show you video music cover of me playing the guitar and singing. This is all very personal for me, and I would like you all to experience this with me just this one time for now, and please be respectful. If you want to join my band, then tell me in the comments below. Anyway, enjoy. Well, I was there on the day they sold the cars for the queen, and when the lights all went out, we watched our lives on the screen. I hate the ending myself, but it started with an alright scene. It was the roar of the crowd that gave me heartache to sing, but it was a lie when they smiled and said you won't feel a thing. And as we ran from the cops, we laughed so hard it would sting. Yeah, yeah. Oh, if I'm so wrong, how can you listen all night long? And how will it matter after I'm gone? Because you never learned a gosh dang thing. You're just a sad song with nothing to say about a lifelong wait for for a hospital stay. And if you think that I'm wrong, this never meant nothing to you. I spent my high school career spit on and shoved to agree, so I can watch all my heroes sell a car on TV. Bring out the old guillotine, we'll show them what we all mean. Yeah, yeah. Oh, if I'm so wrong, how can you listen all night long? Night long. Now will it matter long after I'm gone? Because you never learn a gosh damn thing. You're just a sad song with nothing to say about a lifelong wait for a hospital stay. And if you think that I'm wrong, this never meant nothing to you. So go away. Yes, go. Run away. But where did you run to? And where did you hide? Go find another way. Price you pay. You're just a sad song with nothing to say about a lifelong wait for a hospital stay. And if you think that I'm wrong, this never meant nothing to you. You're just a sad song with nothing to say about a lifelong wait for a hospital stay. And if you think that I'm wrong, this never meant nothing to you at all. At all. At all. At all. No. Then I can't make you